streaming. And no drop frames so far. All right. And if you could go to the stream and just check and see how our sound's doing real quick.
All right. YouTube. What?
See, greetings everybody who may be showing up, maybe not, who knows, if you're listening.
Hello.
All right, and let's see. Does it sound all right?
Hold on.
All right.
Where?
All right.
Where is the channel gone?
Where has the channel gone?
Yeah, I'm looking through my. I'm pretty sure I'm subscribed to it.
No, I don't think so.
Really? Why? Why have I done that? All right.
Let's see. Stream options. Where is? Let's see. Copy.
Oh, found it. I subscribed to it. I'm on.
All right.
And episode 3 AAA.
All right. Now. There's got to be a better way to do this, but for right now, that's all we got. If only I could find like a cheap
Sounds
mixing
good.
All right, awesome. Okay, so let's get started, shall we? Greetings, everybody. I'm Ian Garland, and this is Cameron Francisco, and
Hello.
we are not Moo. Let's get right into the news. Not the news. What we've been listening to right now. So, Cameron, what have you been listening to this week?
One thing that is definitely very interesting, and a lot of people have already talked about this, but Kendrick Lamar seems to be coming out with new things, and that.
Oh yeah, I heard about Kendrick. He put out his track "Humble" just the other day.
Yeah, and before that, he put out the Heart Part 4.
All right. And how are those?
I do definitely enjoy the Heart Part 4, and Humble's pretty good as well. Out of the two, I personally prefer the first one. It's like this 3-part kind of album promotional track. Like, it doesn't really sound like something that he would put on an album. Like, his last 2 albums have been as conceptual as they have been, or well, not including Untitled Unmastered. You know, that just being like a B-sides collection. But before that, you had To Pimp a Butterfly and Good Kid, Mad City, both extremely conceptual, and chances are he's not going to put something like the Heart Part 4 on that. A lot of people say that there are shots in that song towards Big Sean. There are also people who say that there are a lot of shots toward Drake, and both of which are viable. It's possible.
Oh yeah, fair. That's totally fair. So, would you say that this is looking up to be probably a really good album?
Well, of course. I think that's something to be expected of Kendrick at this point. Like, after To Pimp a Butterfly, especially. And, like the last line of the Heart Part 4 is, you have until April the 7th to get your shit together.
Alright. So, this probably him stealthily saying, hey, this is when another track's gonna come out, or the album's just gonna fully drop, basically.
Yes. So, whatever it is, something is happening on the 7th. Chances are it's an album. And if it is, then that's wonderful. And if it isn't on that date, then there is definitely an album coming up. If it isn't an album, then that would be an even more curious event, because if not an album, then what?
I mean, who knows?
Yeah, exactly. That'll be something interesting to witness. Whatever he's planning on doing. And, like, he's putting this at the end of the song, there has to be something big that's happening. And if it isn't an album, then fuck, who knows what it could possibly be.
Yeah. So just one kind of technical question: do you know if for like the official release of the song itself, this little bit where he's not talking about the date, is it like on the official releases, or if it's just like in like YouTube videos?
I don't know. All he says is that on April the 7th, you have until April the 7th to get your shit together. That's all that is on that song as like toward information on that. Also, around the time that this song was dropped, what he did was he actually cleared his entire Instagram and only posted a Roman numeral 4.
Okay, alright.
So he's already doing some weird things.
That's kind of ominous and kind of reminiscent of a lot of different ARGs artists have put forth. But yeah, it's kind of neat he's doing that. My only complaint just hearing that is like if it's on like the official release of said song, if it goes out on albums with the whole "get your shit together by April 7th" at the very end of that song, it'll be kind of jarring to people listening to it like years down the line.
That makes sense. That's why a lot of people speculate that that track isn't going to be on the album. It's a promotional track.
Okay, all right. That makes a lot more sense.
I said that before I started talking about the song.
My apologies. I'm like doing 5 things at once.
It is okay.
All right. But yeah, New Kendrick is good. And sorry, continue.
Well, Anime Boston just happened, and I went to that entirely in a cosplay of Captain Beefheart's Trout Mask replica.
Oh, you went this year?
Yeah, and awesome. I was cosplayed as Trout Mask replica. There was one guy who recognized me and was just like wicked excited about it. See, that was what I was going for with that cosplay. To be the guy in the cosplay that's so rare that the few people who do understand what it is are wicked excited to see that it's there.
That's fantastic. I meant to go to Anime Boston this weekend, but just like it didn't pan out with like money troubles and whatnot. Like, I would have loved to, because I mean, Hi Puffy Yumi playing was like, that would have been fantastic to see.
Right.
Did you end up going to that, or did you miss out on
it? They were planning on Friday. I went Saturday.
Oh, okay, all right. I gotcha.
I did go to a panel on Japanese hip hop, which was pretty cool.
All right. Oh, tell me a little bit about it while we're at it.
Well, I'm sure it's pretty obvious that they did talk about Nujabes.
Yeah, of course.
Like Nujabes is probably like the Japanese Jay Dilla.
I see. I'm not familiar with Jay Dilla, so you have to tell me a little bit about him, I guess.
Pretty much like incredibly famous and influential hip hop producer. Like from the US. And Nujabes is that, but from Japan.
Okay, all right.
And then there were also some other artists. There was this one called Charisma.com that seemed to be this like this electro pop rap group from Japan.
Charisma.com?
Charisma.com. Like, I have a feeling that like that might be their website too. Like, I think that's why they named themselves that, for like that's just like a part of the promotion. I'm looking into that right now. Charisma.com.
It's just to kind of fill out a forum about charisma.
Our unique program is launching soon. Be the first to know. Wow.
That might be a small issue. Oh, charisma.com ban. Let's see. Here we go. I'll have to give them a look. Let's see. They formed in 2011, so they're actually pretty recent. Huh.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat. Their style electro pop. Huh.
Yeah.
I've never really heard of that term. All right, that sounds interesting. Any other artists that were notable from that you wanted to talk about, or?
Um, I do remember that there was Nitro Microphone Underground, who are like the Japanese Wu-Tang.
The Japanese Wu-Tang. Nitro
Yeah.
Microphone Underground?
Nitro Microphone Underground.
Okay, alright. These guys look goofy as all hell, but I'll definitely have to give them a listen.
Wow.
Oh my, oh man, they look like goofs, but I love them. It reminds me of a little bit of this one movie I saw a little while ago, Attack the Gas Station, but it was more that was based around a bunch of the youths in Korea and like the early 2000s, late 90s era. So they kind of have that kind of resonance there.
Right.
Yeah, let's see. And okay, all right. So I guess that kind of hits it for you discussing that panel, I guess.
Yeah, there were other like notable things that I can't quite remember. Snide was with me at the panel, so
Awesome.
I can just like figure out who the people were, but
All right. I'll have to
yeah.
hope. If I go next year, I'll hope to catch some Japanese music panels. Just gotta find the time and find the money for it.
Yeah.
Let's see. All right. And you mind if I go off and talk about the new Slow Dive album that just was announced?
Go ahead.
All right. So Slow Dive just announced their self-titled album. Not only a week ago. Well, yeah, like Wednesday they announced it. It was like completely caught me off guard because I usually wait for these announcements on Friday or whatnot. And it's like for a few days I just did not hear the new track at all and find out that their self-titled album was coming out the week after the Gorillaz album comes out, which is like May 5th. Yeah, May 5th. For Slow Dive, like this is a freaking great album. Like, oh, freaking, they have like 2 songs off of it so far, and it's looking to be a pretty nice album. It's a different atmosphere from what we've seen with previous albums, whereas Just for a Day it sounded kind of almost gloomy, but still had the sense of just them, whereas like Souvlaki sounded a little bit more melancholic than gloomy. This sounds kind of adventurous, as I've said to other people before. Like it's a very fun tone that's kind of different from their usual sound that I'm really looking forward to. Like if you
do you think that what you're hearing on this album is worth the wait of 22 years since their last record?
I mean, yeah, it's definitely worth the wait of 22 years. I mean, when I heard Star Roving back in January, I instantly fell in love with that song. It's going to be one of those songs I'm just going to play until I really hate hearing it come on. Like, that's how much I love it. But I mean, Sugar for the Pill, the other track that they just dropped for their self-titled, it's a very pretty, relaxed song that kind of calls back to songs like Machine Gun and I think like the first track off of Pygmalion. I think that's how it's pronounced. But
Looks to be that.
yeah, I'm loving it. I'm hoping that the rest of the album lives up to the hype and the excitement that these tracks have given me. And we'll definitely see within the next few years if they live up to the hype and to the expectation. Oh, not the next few years. Next month. Yeah, we'll look in the next month and we'll see whether they can do what they did years ago and enchant a whole audience of music fans.
Yeah.
Yeah. And did you end up listening to Chuck Berry's track from his self-titled Chuck? Big Boys ended up dropping about a week or two ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was looking just out of curiosity, and apparently maybe not even a week after he died, they ended up putting out Big Boys. which is honestly a pretty good track. It's like, it still just sounds a lot like Chuck Berry, just the classic rock Chuck Berry stuff.
Mm.
But it's really good. It's like well produced. People who love classic rock of that era will find a nice home in listening to that, and they'll definitely want to hear more of it, and I want to hear more of it too. Because I mean, I haven't heard rock like that in years. Because I mean, the genre's evolved so much.
Yeah.
It's just nice to hear some kind of classic stuff nowadays.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. But actually, so kind of jumping back onto the hip hop train, I ended up listening to Mortal Soul quite a lot on Thursday. And holy crap. The album was so good. Right? I can't believe how jazzy it is and how relevant that album is, like not even 12 years after its release.
Yeah.
I mean, like, people like us, people in our generation would listen to that and say, like, yeah, I resonate with a lot of these topics that are discussed on this album. It's, holy crap, that is a fantastic album. It also kind of interests me. Is Nuhabe the first one to kind of push that kind of jazzy hip-hoppy style, or was that something that was a little bit present before them? For him.
Well, that kind of style, having the kind of jazz rap kind of thing, that has pretty much always been there. It's been there for a while. I know that that's something that A Tribe Called Quest did quite a bit. Nujabes definitely did. Like, Nujabes is definitely he was very good at it. That's obvious. And I
I mean,
because I know it's the same thing that Jay Dilla does.
Jay Dilla does the kind of jazzy backing instrumentals in his music.
Yeah, that's a similar thing that that in general has just been something that has happened in hip hop for a while. It's just that both Jay Dilla and Nujabes are exceptional at it.
All right, that's interesting. I've had no context of the situation at all. I just kind of listened to Nujabes, and then it's like months after I've listened to a bunch of the different like lo-fi jazzy hip-hop projects that are all over Bandcamp, and it's like, did this dude push these guys in that direction, or was it someone else? But yeah, so I mean, that's pretty neat. So A Tribe Called Quest did that like years ago.
Yeah, they had a kind of jazzy kind of thing going on.
Can you kind of like can you tell me like what years? Because I kind of want to listen to more of that. If
let me just remind myself of the release of the Low End Theory.
91.
Oh, all right, thank you.
All right, but 91's basically like the Low End Theory is like kind of their jazzy rap era.
Yeah.
All right, neat. I'll have to add that to my listen list, which is now expanded greatly just in this couple of how long? Just in like this 15 minutes of talking here. All right.
Wonderful.
Yeah, definitely. And let's see. Oh shoot, that reminds me. I meant to put in some background music. Whoops. Here we go. Right now we got the Odd Tape by Oddisee playing. Bunch of nice jazzy hip hop, as I just mentioned earlier. Let's see. Alright. And anything else you've been listening to this week that you want to talk about?
Not really in particular. My week has been pretty busy. But
anything like you might have listened to in the background that you want to talk about a bit?
Really just more of the usual. I did listen to a lot more Trout Mask Replica because I was preparing myself to really like know a lot of the lines so that I could quote them while at Anime Boston.
All right.
And I had a surreal experience at one point when I listened through the entire album, because at the very end, at the second half of the last track, called Veterans Day Poppy, there's like this kind of like this instrumental guitar part thing. It's just this like one lick repeated a lot for like more than half of the track. And for some reason I had this weird like emotional response to that. And then after that was over, when I thought of just random points earlier in the album, I got this like nostalgic feeling from it. It was really weird, but I liked it.
That's pretty neat. Yeah, I mean, getting that little weird nostalgic feeling from different music. I don't think I've had that happen in a while, except for when I listened to Gamma Ray for the first time, which is kind of they're kind of a new wave of British heavy metal band, and they have these interesting songs about like the New World Order and whatnot. And it kind of just kicked me back to like when I was like a really young kid listening to bands like Iron Maiden and whatnot, and just hearing their music and being like, wow, holy crap, this is pretty nostalgic, hearing all the same beats hit by this artist, but still really good, not super derivative and whatnot.
Right.
Yeah. Actually, kind of diverting from the current topic, I found something relatively interesting this week. You're familiar with synthwave to a certain extent, right?
It sounds familiar.
It's like this. You've heard of like you've heard the song from Kung Fury, David Hasselhoff song, True Survivor.
Not by name.
No. Well, it's a bunch of synthy 80s sounding music. You probably know
yeah.
if you listen to it.
That makes sense.
There's a new release that showed up in Apple Music called Streetwalker Night by Night Stop. It is like if you took... It's like if you took the kind of idea of synthwave, but kind of added a sexual feeling to it, which honestly sounds kind of weird, but makes sense in context.
Right.
It's kind of neat. It's just a very sexual tribute to like 80s retro future style synthwave. Like if you kind of took the soundtrack to Drive or the soundtrack to Kung Fury and just kind of added a bunch of like the sex theme around it, you would get what this sounds like. It's a bunch of heavy beats, varied synths, and they're all throughout the album. And some of the tracks are some really, really interesting play on words. Like,
right.
One of the tracks that really called out to me was Syntax Terror, which is really kind of one big play on words of like syntax error and synthetic error or synthetic terror or whatnot.
I see.
Yeah, it's a pretty neat album. It's something that if you were to like drive to, it'd be like, man, I should be going 40 right now, but I really shouldn't because this would be breaking the law. I don't know, it's so interesting to hear it come out as like, I really should be listening to more Kavinsky and whatnot, all those other artists like Scandroid and Perturbator. Perturbator is another synthwave artist on Bandcamp. And
right.
I don't know, I'd say if you ever want to go into synthwave and want to hear something kind of new, I'd say pick up Streetwalker by Night Stop. Or at least listen to a little bit of on YouTube.
Alright.
Yeah. And I think that covers everything I kind of wanted to talk about today, outside of stuff reserved for news. So
true. So is it time?
I believe it is time for the Ah album.
Ah!
Alright, just give me 1 second. So if you want to give us a little bit of background on Amanda McCarthy's Ah.
Alright, Amanda McCarthy and her album AAA. So, as you might have noticed if you saw the last 2 episodes, Amanda McCarthy has been around on featuring on a lot of local music. She provided a verse on the Justin Arena Project's Judson Arna, as well as Niagara Falls by Fordham Road. This is the latest release by Amanda McCarthy, who, by the way, had a Grammy nomination this last Grammy Award ceremony. I don't know if she won, but I know that she was nominated.
What? She was nominated for a Grammy?
Yeah, it wasn't like a major Grammy, but yeah, she was nominated for the track "Elephant in the Room."
Holy, what?
Yeah,
I didn't even notice. Like when I was looking over the Grammys.
Yeah, it wasn't like a real major
American Roots performance. All right. I mean, that's still something. Like
it is.
That is so cool. I didn't. Someone who's like, she probably doesn't have that big of a following as like some of the major bands that really get these Grammy nominations. So,
but she's definitely on her way toward that.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. I mean, seeing like a local artist, kind of local, like that, just out there competing in the big leagues with other major artists. That's
exactly. It's like getting to the point that like soon enough we'll be unable to call her a local artist.
Yeah.
She'll just be bigger than local.
And just kind of taking this tangent a tiny bit further, I'd like to say I'm pleasantly astounded that we're seeing like all these local artists on Apple Music. Like seeing Justin, Fordham Road, and Amanda McCarthy's music all on Apple Music really makes me think like this service itself is going away from just like, oh hey, we only serve the premium stuff, to like getting as accessible to new artists as Spotify is. Like, I mean, we've seen people like BDSU who really can't be signed by major record labels, and some of Viper's music, if you know him.
I know Viper.
Yeah, Viper. Some of his music is on Apple Music too. Probably won't be like half as much as there is on Spotify, but I mean, it's still there, and it's really cool to like make it a little bit more accessible.
Honestly, it's not really particularly hard to get music on Apple Music and Spotify and everything. There are services that allow you to distribute music that way. You know, putting your music on iTunes or Spotify or really any of those streaming platforms. Like that's how you get it. Like on YouTube, like with the the topic kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can get it on YouTube that way. There is one service that I know of that I do want to use called DistroKid, that Justin showed me. It's the one he uses.
DistroKid?
DistroKid, yeah. I plan to use that for City of Ghosts, and any future projects.
Huh.
It's just a self-serving record label essentially.
Huh. All right, so that explains like how we've seen Justin's music and everyone else up on those services now. That makes a lot more sense, like, because
it's really cheap to do too.
Yeah, like how much do they charge you for it?
The lowest, so on DistroKid,
Mm-hmm.
there are 3 different accounts that you can get. Like, you have the regular one, then you have a better one, then you have an even better one, so like the best one.
Mm-hmm.
For the regular one, it's $20 a year.
All right.
And then for the most premium one, which is called the label, it's $80 a year.
Okay, all right. That is
So
that's just
yeah,
fantastic. Like I never thought like it would come to this point where music is this accessible to artists who really want to get their stuff out of there. I mean, I'm impressed that companies like this are opening up for all of these small local artists. Because I mean, I've got a few LPs around here from like the '90s that my dad gave me. That's kind of harkens back to indie music in the Boston area, way back in that day, where they'd just be giving out zines and small 7 inches for people to check out. And it's just like seeing this evolution is pretty neat.
right.
Yeah. But shall we get back onto the topic at hand?
Yes, Amanda McCarthy's AAA. Now we can actually talk about. So we got it out of the way that there's a song on this album that was nominated for a Grammy. We got, we know who Amanda McCarthy is. Singer-songwriter from New Hampshire. Associated with Fordham Road. There are also some other projects that aren't really a thing anymore that she was associated with, but a lot of the members of Fordham Road are back Amanda McCarthy on her own music. Mark McCarthy comes back on this album for the lead and for the lead electric guitar.
Oh.
I know that Tom Shubsta does drumming for Amanda McCarthy's backing band, but there is no drumming on this album.
Huh. Yeah, I was kind of noticing that, like, there was no drumming. It was all kind of bass rhythm.
Yeah. Tom Shubsta does drum for tracks off of The Good, the Bad, and the Awkward, which is Amanda McCarthy's previous album. Well, actually, apparently, as far as I know, they're both EPs, but, album, EP, close enough. An EP is just an album, but small.
Oh, yeah, fair enough.
I guess when it comes to context, there's really nothing more to say here.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. There's just the music, and I'll say, for music that is way outside of my comfort room, like, it was very nice. Like, I really don't listen to music like this, which is like acoustic-y pop, almost sounding like country music. But, I mean, this was something of a pleasant listen. I would definitely go back to it if I ever had the desire to. Her vocal talents are just exceptional. Like, I'm not shocked why
she's definitely a talented vocalist. Also, her voice, she definitely does have a very unique sounding voice as well.
Yeah, it's not like kind of the samey voice that you hear like every girl that wants to start a solo project has. She seems to have like a very natural talent to her, and I hope she never puts that to waste. I mean, like, she just keeps on singing for like the rest of her career, because that's something I want to hear. Let's see, like, on this album, like, she puts out such a nice variety of like sounds. It's not all the samey BS that you'd hear with like just a generic release. Like, we hear a bunch of different tempo shifts, a bunch of implementation of like different instruments here and there, like Spanish guitar I heard on the Blame Game and ukulele on
I love that.
Not Your Average Love Song. Like, that is like really neat. So it's to like kind of differentiate the album entirely. There's tempos that change between different
honestly,
songs.
I think I'm just like a sucker for like the Spanish guitar on the Blame Game. That was wonderful.
Like, the Spanish guitar, it was a very nice, soothing sound, but I kind of was more of a sucker for the uke on Not Your Average Love Song, mainly because of how much Not Your Average Love Song kind of differentiates from the norm. It is certainly not an unexplored topic, but it's something kind of new that I haven't heard that often, and it's kind of neat to hear.
Yeah, true.
Do you know... No, she probably doesn't have any kids, I don't think. So it's probably
that's exactly what she's talking about.
Oh yeah, I mean, that's what I'm she wouldn't. Does she have kids?
Yes.
Oh, okay, all right, okay. Because
the song's literally about her daughter.
Okay, I didn't know if she's just kind of like extrapolating
Okay.
on what it would feel like, or if she actually had a kid and was kind of singing about her daughter. That's
No,
honestly
no.
one of the coolest things. Like singing, composing a song about your child and kind of putting it out there is probably one of the more raw experiences than just like making a regular love song about your significant other. Like,
Which I mean isn't something that doesn't happen on
uh-huh.
AAA, but
And just kind of, I appreciate that song more than anything else on there for how much it differentiates from the norm. Honestly, it's not just a album targeted towards like 13 to 15-year-old girls. It tackles like an actual mature theme, which is kind
yeah,
of like for this genre sometimes it can be kind of a difficult thing.
I guess so.
Yeah, but I mean that just may be that may be me extrapolating on like just what I've heard from like country acts of like the modern day all over the radio. Like they don't really tackle hard subject matter over the radio because I mean that's hard to market.
Yeah.
Let's see. What else?
So, so out of this whole project, do you think that Elephant in the Room should be the one that would like be on like the nomination for the Grammys?
You know, I would say that a bridge better burned would be more worthy of a Grammy nominee, but for the context of Elephant in the Room, where it's probably like a different instrumentation style, it kind of makes sense because I could see Elephant in the Room being more rootsy than a Bridge Better Burned, whereas a Bridge Better Burned's kind of more just poppy than Elephant in the Room. Well, kind of like low tempo, low tempo
And
poppy.
slower.
Yeah,
Yeah. More just kind of an acoustic ballad.
really, really, yeah, but a very good acoustic ballad at that.
Yeah.
I was to say some of the harmonies that are on this album are fantastic. Just
Yeah, there are plenty of vocal features on "I'll Be Back,"
yeah, I mean,
including Gabe Strait, who is also on bass and electric guitar on that song, and Julia Levine.
yeah, it's kind of neat seeing Gabe go out and do like features for like Amanda McCarthy, and like then realizing that holy crap, he's on part of an album that was nominated for a Grammy. Like that is really cool. Sorry, I can't help but geek out at that a little bit.
That's all right.
Do you know if was she playing in your backyard like last year or
Not it.
something?
No, not in my backyard, but Justin's backyard.
Okay, all right, because I think a friend of mine kind of tried dragging me out to, well, got me to drag her out to your backyard show, and she was hyping over who was gonna be there. Was it? It was Julia Levine. But anywho, so this album's got a lot of neat variety, a lot of neat instrumentation. I'll have to say the production, very solid, a very solid sounding album. I don't think there was any sort of misses with the way songs were produced. The bass.
I mean, this is coming from like a similar location to where Fordham Road came from. Like a
Yeah.
lot of the same people working on it, you know.
Yeah. Wait, is it the same? Let's see. Oh yeah. So it's all home produced. So a bunch of people who have like the same vision for how it should sound. That's pretty cool. Do you know? You've listened to the song just last week, right?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So do you know who's shouting at the very end of the song? He's yelling, "Give it up
No.
for Mike."
No, I'm not. I'm not sure. I also don't know. Wait a minute. I might know who Mike is. Hold on.
Hmm.
Hold on. I can get my information.
All right. Yeah. Sure.
I'm pretty sure Mike is Amanda's current significant other.
All right. The guy from Fordham Road. No, I think Tom is the guy from Fordham Road. So Mike would be like a former.
No, I'm wrong.
Hmm.
No, Amanda McCarthy is currently in a relationship with someone named Andy. So
Oh,
yeah, I have no idea. I have no idea who Mike is.
all right. Well, forgive that little bit of misinformation there.
If Amanda McCarthy, if you're listening to this, um, can you tell us who Mike is? This is
Sh-
this is pressing this is pressing information.
I mean, that would be fantastic, and hopefully we'll get an answer eventually. But
Yeah.
but any sort of other notes you want to give on that? How you felt about it?
Not that I haven't already said. I mean, A Bridge Better Burn is a very good ballad. I do enjoy that. Elephant in the Room is very catchy. It's a nice little thing to dance to. Blame Game, I love the Spanish guitar on that. Not Your Average Love Song. Yeah, I'll Be Back. That one's the one with all the gang vocals and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Bad News is probably out of all of them, compared to a lot of the other songwriting on the rest of AAA, Bad News isn't as high up as the rest of them. It's not bad, but I don't think I would really put it above a lot of the other songwriting that is on AAA.
I mean, I give it points for being catchy, but Bad News is kind of. I kind of understand why you're placing it there, because out of all the songs that are here that sound really different and unique, that one kind of sounds the most generic, which is kind of a compliment to everything else, because everything else has such a unique sound to it.
Yeah.
I'll say Bad News is a good primer, though, for getting us into the album, because it kind of welcomes us to her sound in a way that's very accessible to people who may not have, listened to her music before.
Exactly. And right after that, you just dive right into I'll Be Back, which one thing that I appreciate as a rapper, and in the style that I've written in before,
Mm-hmm.
the constant rhyming in the lyrics of I'll Be Back is something very much appreciated by me personally.
Yeah, I kind of was listening to that a bunch more today to kind of solidify my thoughts, and just hearing every line rhyme with itself. It's okay, wow, that's actually really good. Amanda, you've got some amazing writing chops there. Let's see. Oh wow, this is a collection of songs from 2011 to 2015. So this has been a long piece of progress there.
Yeah, I think Bad News is probably something from 2011.
Mm-hmm. All right. See, I can kind of see this album also being kind of a gradual display of this is how I've progressed as a musician too, possibly.
Yeah.
Let's see. And I wonder. That's probably just Amanda McCarthy on Spanish guitar in the Blame Game. You think?
No, Mark McCarthy.
Mark McCarthy? All right.
Yeah. Yeah. Amanda's doing the acoustic.
All right. Okay. All right. Because I'm listening to it right now because it's playing in the background, and I'm trying to piece together who's who. But yeah.
No. All the lead electric guitars done by Mark, except the only electric guitar that isn't done by Mark is a solo that's done by Gabe on I'll Be Back.
Yeah. All right, I got you. Yeah, this is something that if I'd ever feel like it, I'd want to go back to just to listen to it once or twice. It'll definitely still be in my Apple Music collection for a fair amount of time. I don't think I'll be letting it go anytime soon.
Yeah, true. And hopefully soon. AAA was released in 2015, so hopefully at some point there will be a new a full length album from Amanda McCarthy that isn't so much a collection the way that AAA and The Good, the Bad, and the Awkward is, because both of these projects, for one thing, they are pretty short, but also, since they are collections of songs from this amount of from this span of years. Like, what I wonder is, what if Amanda McCarthy were to put together a project and write an entire album
Yeah.
with the progress that she's made as a songwriter up to this point.
Yeah, I gotcha. But hey, there's a little bit of echo I'm hearing. Are you listening in the background? And
No, I don't have the stream open right now.
oh, that's weird. All right. Well then, let's see. I guess just kind of a final thoughts on this would be, this is a fantastic album, and people who haven't listened to this should listen to it. And I agree with you definitely, Cam, on the fact that she's hopefully putting out a not really I agree with you, but I hope with the same sentiment that you have, that she puts out a full length of just original songs composed strictly for the album, because a collection of songs are nice, but a consistent flowing idea and album would be pretty nice. And it has been 2 years since we've seen a release from her. Well, more like a year and a half since her last album came out in like December of 2015.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm sure that it's going to be a thing. She has been active.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Like, like with the 2 releases that we reviewed the last couple of weeks, both having her on them.
Yeah, definitely. So she's probably just priming herself for getting a full release out, and maybe at some local shows happening this summer, she might be able to premiere some songs. Maybe. This is totally me plugging for playing at my house sometime this summer. Amanda, if you're listening, please. But I'd say, final thoughts. This album is solid as fuck, and if I were to rate it, I'd give it probably, I just say same as last week, a solid 8.5. Like, it's an album that I personally kind of don't like the genre, but it's exceeded my expectations, and it sounds great for the genre it's in. Like, I would give it an 8.5 to go on another Pitchfork score.
And you know what? I'll give it a 9, because honestly, I have no issues with this project at all, except for the fact that the writing on Bad News is a little less interesting than the writing on all the other songs. That's pretty much it. That's not that bad of a thing. I can deal with that.
Yeah, I totally get that sentiment. I mean, Bad News could have been a little bit better writing, but the writings there still has its own nice quality to it. It's kind of a song about, hey, just don't stay away from that bitch. She's just gonna wreck your life, dude. Nope. What did I tell you, buddy? But yeah, I think that kind of solidifies our thoughts about that album. See, and if you want to give it a listen, link or buy it, the link to it on Bandcamp is right below the video in the description box. And I'd say we should jump into the news, because there's some interesting news to talk about today.
Yeah, true. Well, one thing that seems to be kind of cool is something called WRTJ is happening.
WRTJ?
Or another... Yes, WRTJ. Yeah, it's there's this thing that happened. It's we run the radio, although radio isn't a J, but it appears to be it's a radio show podcast kind of thing done by rap duo Run the Jewels. And I guess there's going to be a new season of that, because if you look at the Run the Jewels YouTube channel, they released these weird, like, 20-second videos of like these little animations of Mike and Jamie, just kind of like little animations with like the audio of the radio show.
All right, awesome. Huh, that's neat. Uh, so that it's just kind of like a. Could you kind of give me a little bit of background? Because I've honestly never heard of like this radio show. Like, what are they gonna do with it? Like,
I hadn't heard about this radio show until Run the Jewels released these things on their YouTube channel. I I guess it's kind of a I think what they do, I think they might like answer questions for fans and things and just talk about cool things. I'm not entirely sure, but I mean,
all right.
I know that there are a lot of fans who Run the Jewels out there, and I know that a lot of fans who Run the Jewels are going to be into this.
All right. All right. That makes sense. That's pretty neat. See, I'll have to end up checking it out too. I mean, just out of plain curiosity, just see what I can pick up from there, what I can learn from these guys, and what they're doing. All right. And also, actually, while I'm at it, I'll put a link to WRTJ in the description. Oh, it's a Beats One radio show. Okay, that makes sense. It's I just saw. I've been seeing some promos for Corey Taylor of Slipknot doing something similar. Can't remember what it was called, but I sent it to my brother earlier because he's a big fan of Corey Taylor and Slipknot and whatnot. I didn't know this was kind of common to do, Apple Music radio station shows. That's pretty cool, though.
Yeah.
I actually kind of want to talk about a story that cropped up recently. Let's see, where is the article? Right here, I think. Yep. So, there is cops in Boston are posing as punks and trying to shut down indie shows.
That sucks.
I know,
that's
but
horrible.
It's horrible, but it's also kind of funny to look at it because they're cops are being posers and trying to find one person that's stupid enough to talk about these indie shows in Boston. There's been a relatively recent ordinance that went into place. Let's see, ordinance. Where is it? I think
thinking about it, what even is the issue with these indie shows? Why would they need to shut them down?
I think the problem that they're citing here is it's something that they probably have a concern with the environment of these indie shows, where it's people crowding the sidewalks, underage drinking. It happens there in those buildings. There's concerns of public nuisances, vehicles parked illegally, fights and disturbances of the peace, where it's people running around freaking out. It's understandable, but it sucks quite a lot.
I guess, but couldn't a lot of those things be applied to just about any gathering of people?
Yeah, I mean, they just use gathering as kind of a catch-all in this section. So I guess if you have a barbecue, you could get shut down based on the usage of this ordinance, but it's also very unlikely. It's not even really a shutdown thing, but it's more as they'll fine you for $100 the first time and $300 the second and following times. Let's see.
It would make more sense if they did that, and what they did was they essentially just they did that just to make sure that none of that illegal shit actually happened. Because as you described, the problem isn't that there's a music indie show going on. It's the fact that there's stupid shit going on at the indie show, which isn't really the fault of the fact that it's an indie show. So all they would really need to do is pose as punks to go into the indie show so they can make sure that nobody's underage drinking. And if they are, then that's what they stop, not the entire show.
I totally get that. I mean, and with the ordinance, the kind of being a bit generous with it. It's say if in lieu of issuing a fine, an officer may issue a written warning if the response to the complaint occurs prior to 10 p.m. So chances are police officers will try to not respond to it until after 10 so that they can probably get whatever money they can out of it. I mean, that's just kind of my expectation with like local shows run around here and whatnot. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of stupid. And again, it's like I kind of understand why it's put into place. Like, there's a public disturbance problem with these shows. People, like, when they're like sitting outside, like having a smoke, like they'll crowd up the sidewalks and crazily. Like, you've seen shows where people are outside smoking, like they fill the sidewalk, and anyone who wants to get past, it's like, oh, we have to like kind of walk into the street a bit to kind of get around them.
I've actually never seen that happen.
It's like I've been up into Boston a couple times for shows. I've seen like I've seen a couple house shows as I'm passing up on, I can't remember, but there's this like big section of like housing on the way to Anime Boston that it's all brick and whatnot, and there was a show out there one time, and there were like people just crowded around on the street, kind of smoke on the sidewalk smoking, and it was enough people where it was like, yeah, they can't really get by safely. So that's one concern that I can see. But the rest, again, is kind of just contrived, and I hope that they won't just be applying it to these indie shows and kind of applying it to other events, like get cookouts that really have like no permits and whatnot, I guess. So if they're gonna be fair about this, I just hope that they can do away with it entirely, though, because I mean the ordinance is kind of really bad, but I understand why it exists. If they could just introduce something that's a little bit different, or enforce it in a way that isn't so oppressive, that'd be neat.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. I guess the funny part of it is just like kind of seeing these cops trying to catfish like punks into talking about the shows and trying to like get these things shut down. Because I mean, like in this picture here, there's a fake account for Joe Sly with a email bostonbeatgang@gmail.com, and just the way he talks is so goofy. Like, hey, here you're coming to my town looking to check the show out. Where are you playing? And it's like, hey, thanks for getting back to me. Too bad you were not here this weekend. Patty's Day is a madhouse, and I am still pissing green beer. Cops do break balls, something wicked here. What's the address for Saturday tonight? Love DIY concerts. Say it ain't true. Tonight's show has been canceled. It's like, guys.
All right, like you know that picture of Steve Buscemi? It's just like, hello, fellow children.
Yes, exactly. It's like that.
See, someone texting like that is like something that like I would show so like Justin, if I was hanging out with him, or whoever I was hanging out with, just like to laugh at how ridiculous like those texts are.
It's like talking about green beer, like, bro, people don't really drink green beer on St. Paddy's Day, except for people who aren't Irish. Like, that's just kind of the green beer thing is kind of a dumb fad that happens in Boston for just that everyone who wants to be Irish for St. Paddy's Day drinks. But then after like one time, they'll be like, oh yeah, this is stupid.
Right.
But I think actually, there's actually a tweet received about an email from this guy this month, Joe Sly. What's the 411 for the show Saturday? What's the 411?
411.
I haven't heard that since 2003. What? Where are these slang filters coming from? God damn, like, this is... It kind of sucks to have these narcs going on with to have these narcs trying to, like, get someone stupid enough to tell them where these things are happening so they can shut them down. But just how funny this is, it kind of makes up for the ordeal a little bit, because it's like, they don't understand that they're making an ironic meme right there. Like, I could take what they're saying and just make an ironic meme page out of it.
I'm sure that's already been done.
It probably has been. I mean, and to some better extent, probably. Like, Welcome to My Meme page has probably been doing stuff similar to this for about a few months now.
Probably.
I think that kind of, sums up what I'm thinking about the matter. So, let's actually talk about another interesting news article. Disney released a power metal album of Disney classics. Like, I've talked to you before we started. This is an album distributed by Walt Disney Pictures on streaming services with power metal covers of classic Disney songs. Like, I'll actually pull it up right here. Let's see, where is it? Here we go. Let's see. So it has covers of songs like the Mickey Mouse March, I See a Light, A Whole New World, the title track from Beauty and the Beast, Go the Distance from Hercules, and When You Wish Upon a Star, which is actually included in the introduction track. This is a very fun, very weird album. And I'd say if you're ever curious about, like, hey, this is metal, give it a listen, because it's a weird occurrence. It kind of reminds me a lot of the band Avantasia, but with a lot more goofy edge to it. It's so weird, so fun, and just kind of, I don't know, it's kind of off-putting in like a very deep-seated, in a very deep way to hear these songs kind of played in this style, but at the same time it's really funny.
The weird thing is the fact that it's being released by Disney themselves. Like, I'm sure there are plenty of covers like this by just if you look it up on YouTube, I'm sure there are plenty of different covers of Disney songs in metal styles, because that's what people like to do. They like to, I don't know, they like do metal covers of songs that aren't metal, I guess. Yeah. But so like I guess like in that way, like just thinking about the fact that just generally that it's just covers of Disney songs but metal, like that itself isn't that weird, but it's mainly the fact that it's like coming from Disney themselves.
Yeah, with that's being
kind of an interesting thing.
Like, metal is like the least family friendly thing, aside from like some of the metal we've heard in like SpongeBob and whatnot. Like, I think they featured Motorhead and Pantera in different instances. But yeah, like I never expected Disney to kind of come out and be like, hey, here's this metal album of covers of classic songs. Like, that's just something that's like, is this April Fool's Day? Are you joking me? Am I on Punk'd? Who was it on Punk'd? Was it Bam Margera? I don't know. But anywho, point is, check it out. It's D-Metal Stars, Metal Disney, and it's a really weird album. I enjoyed it though, and if you like it, I'd recommend listening to some Avantasia or just Iron Maiden, just to like kind of take yourself off of it and into more metal, just to kind of have some fun with it and whatnot. All right, now let's see. And I believe that is kind of the last of the news I wanted to talk about. Shoot. So, very funny. Justin Narita and Fordham Road announced that they're going on tour together in May, starting with a show in Cambridge. Like, the two guys that we first reviewed, like, they're going on a tour together. How crazy is that?
Yeah. And it's also just a wonderful thing. They are very different artists, but both of them are very good. And I wonder, since Fordham Road's going, I wonder if Amanda McCarthy's going to be just kind of there. Like I'm not sure. I don't think that would necessarily happen, but it would just kind of be funny if like all three of the artists that we've reviewed so far just go on a tour together. But like Amanda McCarthy isn't actually like on the bill for the tour, but like maybe she's around to like maybe sing her features on Niagara Falls and maybe even Jets and Arna.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. I mean, I doubt that it's gonna happen, but it's cool to like see Justin touring with like another full band so that he can get like actual full band performances going.
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean that has already happened.
yeah, but I mean like another full band performance because a lot of what is on the Pink Room is dedicated full band stuff.
Yeah. I mean, he's already toured full band with another full band.
Yeah, but I mean like say with when he's going on this, it's like he can't really play much of the Pink Room unless he has a full band because it's from the way it
Well,
looks, it's just like Justin Arena and Fordham Road. It's never mind. The point's moot. Like Justin Arena and Fordham Road going on tour together in May is going to be pretty cool, and I'm hoping I can catch them on the 11th. I think that's what is that? A Thursday? Yeah, that's a Thursday. Alright, so, hey, pimp your pimp Z the Stranger City of Ghosts for like a few minutes, real quick. I gotta take care of something.
okay. All right. So, well, I guess I'm just kind of going solo for a bit. All right. So, local hip hop artist Z the Stranger, also known as me. I actually have a new album that I'm working on. It's called City of Ghosts. I plan to release it on April 15th of this year. If you go to my YouTube channel, which, I mean, the link isn't there, but if you go to my Bandcamp, you can then go to my YouTube, from Bandcamp, as well as Facebook and Twitter, if you want to find me there. I have a music video for a track off of City of Ghosts called Multimedia. Also, there's another album that I already have released. It's this experimental ambient kind of a bit of a noise thing called Rose. So if you're interested in that, go check that out. So yeah, full length Z the Stranger project, City of Ghosts. Check it out if you're interested in something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yes, definitely do that. Do that. That I was totally present for this entire time.
Ah.
Let's see. Oh, so actually, so sorry to dip out of City of Ghosts, but so I want to talk about. There's a benefit show going on the 22nd of this month, which is a Saturday for Nick Silvesto. Silvesto. Oh, I can't get the pronunciation right. Taking place in Providence, Rhode Island, and it's got the band Degrader, local favorite, Misleaders, In Depths and Tides, and a lot more. Let me just try and pull the event page up for it. If it's somewhere around here. Ah, shoot. I've lost it in my tab collection. But anywho, go if you're listening right now, go on Facebook, go to Justin Arena's like Facebook page and just kind of look for it. It should be somewhere in there. And I'd say definitely go because it's supporting shows for a good cause are some of my favorite things, and I'd love to be doing it more if it weren't for money and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, we should have probably been doing our duty to like promote this show that happened yesterday, the benefit show up in not in Boston, in Brockton, I think. Huh. I think so. I think it was like Regime playing it last night. Somewhere.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. But yeah, so we're going to be doing our best to kind of promote upcoming shows. And speaking of upcoming shows, on the 21st of this month, if you're not going to be going to Metal Fest over in Worcester, you should definitely come to our show over at 230 North Ave in Rockland on Friday the 21st. Because, I mean, hey, if you're poor, you can always just come to our place. We'll be we have a bunch of live performances, of course, with shows like this. Can't remember exactly who's on the bill, but my brother should have a compiled list of who's on there when he posts the event tonight. If not, I'm going to kill the little dude. But, I mean, that's neither here nor there. So,
yeah.
come to our show if it turns out you can't get into Metal Fest, and have a good time with us. If anything interesting happens, we'll end up talking about it a bit on the podcast later that weekend. Now, you're not going to be around that weekend, are you, right?
No, I'm not.
And it probably will be a hassle for you to try and record, right?
I won't. Are you talking about the weekend that you're having your show?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be home. I'm not gonna be back in the state until the 23rd.
All right, so I'm gonna have Angus sub in for the show, the podcast episodes that you end up missing. So you're gonna be gone the 16th and the 23rd. Oh, I mean, you can still do it.
I believe I should still be capable to.
All right.
Yeah, because I'm leaving on the 17th. I'm coming back on the 23rd. I think I might be back by 6. I'm not entirely sure, but
All right. So if you're back by 6 on the 23rd, that's cool. If you're gonna be gone a little bit longer, we'll see. Say like if you get back home and you're ready to go on at 7, we can definitely do recording at 7. There's gonna be no issue doing that.
Right.
Yeah. But we'll definitely sort that out. Like the 16th, I think I might bring Angus on because I don't want you like trying to like break your leg and to like getting a chance to record. Like that would be the worst thing. Like you enjoy your time away. All right.
All right.
Let's see. And I guess one last thing of news while we're talking here, Daisy Bones, local band, is putting out an album, Gusto, on April the 20th, which is a Thursday. Do you want to tell us a little bit about Daisy Bones real quick?
Indie rock band Daisy Bones, previously called Crown the Youth. If you recognize Crown the Youth, then you know of Daisy Bones. They're the same band, just with a different name. I think that they're a very talented, very good band. Of course, there isn't until April 20th. There isn't really much that we can say about I can really say about Daisy Bones that you would actually be able to look up and listen to until then.
Didn't they release a? Yeah, they released a Bali song actually last month. No, 2 months ago in February. On the 14th, yeah. So Valentine's Day, they released a song, and apparently they're gonna have a song out. Yeah, they have a full album out next month with their preview Jerusalem being ready right now for anyone to listen to. And
yeah,
actually,
so they're.
And on Bandcamp they have a limited edition compact disc set that you can buy for $10 instead of the regular digital, which is like 8 or more. So I guess if you're a fan of indie rock, just, I don't know, give them a listen and maybe buy either of the albums. Yeah, it's worth a shot. Now, alright, I'm going to put this in the description because I do not want to miss out on anything, and I think this kind of really reaches the end of the podcast.
Cameron, but before we close the podcast, what do you think we should talk about next week?
You know, I'm kind of jumping around in my head about that. I was thinking we should, you know, I don't know.
Joe Folan.
Joe Folan? Joe Folan and Friends. Is this what we're going to be looking at, Joe Folan and Friends? Or just another Joe Folan track are you looking for?
Wait, well, Joe Folan, wait a minute. A Joe Folan track? What are you talking about? I mean,
Joe Folan album.
Yeah,
Let's see. But is there any specific Joe Folan album you're looking at?
Well, there's either Retrace or The Barn Tapes, which is by Joe Folan's band called the Sound Bandits.
All right. We'll have to sort that out over the week, but I'm definitely looking. I'll definitely have to do that. Joe Folan is a dude I honestly haven't given much of a listen to, and it's kind of unfair because, he's a very talented dude. I should listen to more of his stuff.
Yeah, let's go with Retrace. That's a good idea.
All right, and before we end up closing, why don't you pimp your stuff a tiny bit more? Like, what are you doing in the next few weeks? Anything interesting you can tell us about?
Well, I mean, I did already talk about City of Ghosts. It's definitely well, I don't want to say like my most experimental project up to this point because, well, it's not compared to Rose, but it's definitely very different from my last hip hop project, that being Divided by Zero. All the I have created all the instrumentals myself, unlike on Divided by Zero. And I just have a suspicion that I feel like a lot of people are going to be into City of Ghosts, and if they aren't into City of Ghosts, then there are other projects that I do plan to make after City of Ghosts that I have a feeling will be even better.
Awesome. So it's not going to be as dark and 90s as City of Ghosts?
What?
It's this new not City of Ghosts. It's not going to be as dark and 90s as Divided by Zero. I spoke without
Dark
thinking.
and 90s!
Dark and 90s.
That has to be like one of my favorite descriptions of... I still can't believe...
It's honestly beautiful, isn't it?
As another example of someone describing a music thing in a hilarious way, I recommended "Homogenic" by Björk to my dad, and he was just like, okay, so that Yoko Ono Minnie Mouse looking album, that's the way to go, right?
That is beautiful.
So I think I got my ability to describe out albums this way from him.
Sweet.
And there's I don't think there's anything 90s about City of Ghosts. There is some dark stuff though.
Yeah.
All right. Do you people want a secret spoiler of City of Ghosts?
Yeah, a secret spoiler would be pretty cool.
I die in the end.
Oh shit. Is there like a story throughout City of Ghosts or something like that?
No.
Oh?
It's not a concept album. I on the second to last track, I die. And then the very last track is an instrumental.
That's interesting. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing that. Now, shoot, this reminds me. I need to go and finish listening to your discography. I'll have to try and do that tonight or at some point this week. But, yeah. I guess just to finish out, I ended up getting a message from this Russian dude who is doing an instrumental, who did an instrumental for a Dark Tranquility song a few years ago. And he's letting me use his instrumental for vocal demos, so expect a vocal demo from me sometime before the end of this month. Hopefully halfway through. But I don't know, This has been kind of sitting on the back burner for, I don't know, I think this has been sitting on the back burner for about a month, so maybe I can finally get it done.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so expect instrumental cover of Lethe from Dark Tranquility, which is off of The Gallery, and maybe The Wonders at Your Feet, if I can find the time and finally emotionally motivate myself to get both of them done. But definitely Lethe is going to be done soon. I've already got the vocals there, I just got to kind of record cleans for it. I got to kind of master it, got to make sure it doesn't sound like absolute garbage, which really isn't that hard with FL Studio. And then just kind of put it out there. So if you want to see it, maybe I'll eventually have a Bandcamp link for me as an artist in the description soon. But until then, just check the regular channels, Twitter, Facebook, whatever. And at the same time, also check out Cameron's stuff on Twitter, Bandcamp, Facebook. And while you're at it, give our podcast a like on Facebook, a share on Facebook, a follow, a subscription, like and share, and all that fun junk on YouTube. And that about does it. See,
Yeah.
I have been a nerd.
I've been a musician.
And we are not Moo. Thank you very much, everybody. Have yourselves a fantastic night.
Goodbye.